up, I played pissed off. That's how our coaches told us to play. I was always the guy, and I never had to wait. But in my high school career, colleges really took the time to visit, and I ended up with 0 offers out of high school. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. Doubts were in my mind. Do I continue with football? I knew that, I belonged on a Division I football team, and I was going to do anything I could to, make my dreams come true. Every time I stepped on the field, it was a vengeance mission for me, and I wanted to go attack. I saw red, I saw blood. I told myself I wasn't going to be denied. I was out to prove every team why you messed up.
Hello. Josh, ready to be a Bill?
Yes, sir.
Bills select Josh Allen, cornerback, Wyoming. I just want to say thank you to the Bills organization. Going to make them look like they're the smartest people out there.
It is intercepted. Real rookie mistake.
Are you at all concerned about Josh Allen?
Mind-numbingly horrible turnover.
He has to understand how to be decisive.
Trying to prove everybody wrong. I just realized that it wasn't about proving everybody wrong, it was about proving myself right.
Well, 5 stars tonight, baby.
And the beast has been released. Can you say MVP?
Oh, my goodness. There he goes.
A Josh Allen explosion.
Are you kidding me? He's unbelievable. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Josh Allen has burnished his credentials as MVP.
We are witnessing something special here.
Coming out of high school and having 0 offers, deciding to go to junior college, I think that definitely made me the player and the person I am today.
All right, just when I was, had goosebumps and was like crying over Lamar Jackson, now I'm doing the same thing for Josh Allen, and that's just indicative of this entire conversation. So we have the battles of the MVPs on CBS for the divisional round of the AFC. We went through the game and all the storylines, but perhaps the most intriguing storyline here, of course, and maybe one of the most polarizing, interesting discussions is in the entire NFL right now is who should be the MVP? Should it be Lamar Jackson? Should it be Josh Allen? And we have the whole squad here. We have Pete Prisco, Danny Kanell, Mike Renner, and Douzable, and we're going to go through and make the case for each guy and just have a discussion about it because it's not really cut and dry and it's very, very nuanced. Mike, you guys are going to make the case for Lamar Jackson. Pete and DK, you guys are making the case for Josh Allen. Let's start with Lamar, putting up Aaron Rodgers type of numbers, having a historic season. Why should he be, and Mike, the MVP in your guys' opinion?
You want to go first or you want me to go first?
You hit it up.
Okay.
First and foremost, he's done something that nobody's done in NFL history. When you talk about a guy that's thrown for over 4,000 plus passing yards, rushed for over 800 plus rushing yards, thrown for over 40 plus passing touchdowns, and fewer than 5 interceptions. Again, that's never been done in NFL history. And people will try to knock him because Derrick Henry was his running back and he rushed for over 1,900 yards. Well, let's go look at some of the other top running backs because usually when your running back has that type of production, the quarterback doesn't have the production Lamar Jackson has had, right? Saquon Barkley, over 2,000 rushing yards. You know what Jalen Hurts is thrown for? Under 3,000 yards this year, only 18 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson is number 3 in rush yards. Didn't his quarterback get benched? 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Oh, let's keep going down. Jonathan Taylor is the 4th in rushing yards. His quarterback got benched as well, and they play 2 different guys. So usually when a guy has that type of production at the running back position, the quarterback doesn't do what Lamar Jackson is doing. And this will be the end of this discussion right here. When you talk about playing the upper echelon teams in the NFL, out of 17 games, the Baltimore Ravens played 10 teams that made it into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson went 7-3 in those games. 22 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And when you talk about his quarterback rating, 119.9, and then when you also look at the point differential against those teams in the playoffs, plus 112 point differential. That is top 3 in NFL history. So what Lamar is doing, nobody has ever done before. You can ding him all you want for having Derrick Henry, but I just rattled off the stats and facts for you. Most running backs that have that type of production don't have the numbers Lamar Jackson has.
Yeah, for every stat we throw out for Lamar, they're going to counter with something for Josh Allen because his season has been incredible too. But there's 2 things I go back to that Josh Allen just cannot account for. One, Lamar played a far more difficult schedule than Josh Allen did this year. Who you play in the NFL still matters. They had the 2nd most difficult schedule of any playoff team. Josh Allen had the 2nd easiest schedule of any playoff team. And then they had a head-to-head matchup. They played already this year. In that game, if that game happened week 17, I don't even think we're having this conversation, but it happened early on in the season. Josh Allen goes 16-29, 180 passing yards, no touchdowns in that game. Lamar, 13 of 18, 156 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. They blew him out, 35-10. To me, those 2 things add up to giving the edge to Lamar.
Do you want to tear them apart? Or do you want me to?
Well, I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear this rebuttal.
I've torn them
Because
apart.
we're talking about a lot of numbers, guys, but this is a subjective
it's the
thing on the
MVP.
feeling. Yeah,
It's not. If it was a stat award, like you just pointed out, Dak Prescott should have beat Lamar Jackson last year. He didn't.
Okay.
I mean, he should have. He had better stats. The records were the same.
I'm gonna let you talk.
And you could talk about winning record against winning teams and all that. Josh Allen beat the 2 #1 seeds in each conference. He
and
beat
then
the
lost
Chiefs.
3 other games.
And you know what else he didn't do? He didn't lose to Gardner Minshew at home, and he didn't lose to the Cleveland Browns either. And I think Lamar Jackson did. You talk about, those playoff teams. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers really any good? They got in the playoffs. They were.
You want to add the Bengals in that? Because that would be 12 games.
They weren't very good. They weren't very good. Look, the bottom line is it's MVP. And here's another thing. You talk about all those stats you rattle off. He played 2 more games in terms of snaps compared to Josh Allen.
He had more pass attempts.
He took him out of games. He played 2 more games. 2 more games.
He still had more pass attempts.
You know how many? And here's the other thing. You know how many All-Pros he had on his roster? Josh Allen, you know how many he had?
I know, because I know the answer. It was just him and one other, his left tackle.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's a first and second team. You know how many they had in Baltimore? 8. Yes. And
that's regular Pro Bowl.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask Mike, this isn't like Rafa Nadal versus Federer where they're head-to-head.
Yeah.
So I don't put too much into that one. And I was going to ask Leger, what is the greatest team sport we know? It is the sport of football where your surrounding cast matters more than anything. If anything, the Bills' defense has allowed for less margin of error for Josh Allen, where he has more pressure on him to deliver every single possession, where he doesn't have the type of defense that the Ravens do. These are both incredible guys. I love how we're getting passionate about it. Full disclosure, I said to our producer, Jack, I was like, give him co-MVPs. And
I'm okay
I think that is the solution to everybody, but I would lean. But he did ask me, who would you go with if you took a side? I said Josh Allen. Both of them are equally deserving, but I do think that your supporting cast matters. And I thought that giving Derrick Henry Lamar Jackson was a cheat code for both of them, and they both have benefited. It might end up at a Vince Lombardi trophy, but I do think the supporting cast of Lamar Jackson was what put it over the edge for me, saying Josh Allen has done more with less than Lamar Jackson does. They've both been awesome, but I would slightly lean towards Josh Allen.
And you go back to that game when they play head-to-head. Circumstances matter. It was a Sunday night game at Baltimore. That matters.
You're making excuses now,
I mean, it is.
It's
okay.
the NFL,
if it was a Sunday night game at Buffalo, would it be different?
Well, we don't know that. We're going to find out. We're going to find out Sunday. Good Lord.
You've played in the NFL. You know it's different playing at home and on the road, particularly on a Sunday night.
So, Leger, in this head-to-head, if Josh Allen does win, how much more does that change?
No, it doesn't. The vote's already in, so it doesn't matter.
The votes are done. The votes are cast.
But this is my pushback when you guys.
In your mind.
No, it doesn't matter. This is my pushback. What you guys were talking about most valuable. If that's the case, shouldn't Jaden Daniels be the most valuable player? Because let's not forget, the offense is exactly the same, except for 2 offensive linemen. And Jaden Daniels have them in the playoffs. They picked number 2 last year, which means they were terrible. So if you're talking about most valuable and you want to throw stats out the window, shouldn't it be Jaden Daniels?
No, it should not. It should
Why
be
wouldn't
Josh
it be?
Allen. He's the most valuable. He was the number 2 seed in the conference. Jaden Daniels was not. Yeah, that's a big difference.
The Commanders picked 2 overall last year, Pete.
Big difference. Well, okay, then are you going to give Lamar's MVP back for last year and give it to Dak Prescott?
I didn't vote. I didn't have a vote. I wish I had a vote. Not at me. I ain't vote.
Or Brock Purdy. You could make the case for him last year too.
Lamar beat him head-to-head.
Head-to-head is it?
You said that mattered. You used to say that mattered. Now it doesn't matter.
I never say that matters.
You did say that matters.
No, I don't. I never have said that matters.
DK, does that matter?
Circumstances matter.
Don't. All right. So let's assume. Aside from the debate we're having, who do you think actually wins it? Don't you think it's going to be Josh Allen? And I don't think it's fair, but I do think.
Because voter fatigue.
Yes, voter fatigue. You've already given Lamar 2. Josh doesn't have any. It's his time. I do think he's going to win.
The All-Pro voters are them.
I was going to say, that's why I pushed back on it, because the All-Pro voted Lamar's first team 30-18.
Well, I'm not telling you who I voted for MVP, but
we know who you voted for.
I will tell you who I had the first team quarterback, and it was Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was you get a second place vote too, right? For quarterback, who was that?
It was Lamar Jackson.
But that's what I'm saying. I think Lamar wins it because of the votes. Now, again, this could be like 1987, where Joe Montana won it, but John Elway won MVP.
And John Elway had no business winning the MVP that year, if you go back and look at it, by the way. And here's the other thing. You could have co-MVPs. We've had that before.
Right. It's happened twice, I think, in NFL history. I was going to say, how likely do you think it is? Or is it
Very
because
likely.
it is so close, or do you not see that happening? Pete?
I don't see it happening.
Okay.
I mean, that fluke that year, I do not see that happening.
I would say also that year that Peyton and Steve McNair, the vote was a lot closer. I mean, I think it was 2 points closer in regards to Peyton compared compared to what Lamar has, right? I think it was 30-18. I think it was like 28.
Well, it's different now too. You have to vote 1 through 5, and back then it was.
Oh, it's 1 through 5.
Yeah, and back then it was a winner. So it's changed the process a little bit.
And I just have one quick thing for this side of the table. So there's a lot of conversation about the numbers versus the film, and it's like a feeling and things that you see on tape. And if you're just reading about this 7-yard receiving touchdown in the snow, if you're just reading that, you have to see it to understand how special that is. What do you say to people that say the film speaks more than the stats?
And whose favor? Because I'm like, do you go back to last week and when you saw literally with 11 seconds on the clock, Lamar Jackson buying time and then finding Justice Hill for a touchdown with 2 seconds left? Like, the film shows that is a greater play than what it would say on the scoreboard.
Well, I used to work for a company that Pete loves that graded every single play of every single game.
We just had no idea who was doing the grading, that's all.
And they came out with Lamar Jackson as getting a much higher grade this year than Josh Allen.
All right. I don't think you ask defensive coordinators who they'd want to defend, they'd say neither.
Yeah,
I do
100%.
probably say, I think Lamar is he's more of a dynamic runner.
Much more.
I think that probably scares defensive coordinators more than Josh Allen.
By the way, in the last game, the best play in the last game was made by Josh Allen when he got flushed and threw that rifle shot down the sideline. It was the best play in the game. But again, you go back to the tape and you look at the tape and you go, wow. But Lamar Jackson makes way more wow plays, I think. I don't think there's any question about that.
Okay. Pete, TK, Lige, Mike, we certainly appreciate it. It's a conversation that we're certainly going to continue.
One more thing. It's the playoffs. And who's been better in the playoffs? That you can't argue. You can't argue. No, it isn't. Look at their numbers in the playoffs.
Yeah, we just had an interesting discussion. Who needs a win more on our social channels?
Lamar
Is it
does.
Josh Allen? Is it Lamar? Pushing the pile, the fellas are certainly continuing this conversation in terms of the MVP with Kyle Long and Mike Renner. All these guys are guests on the show as well. You can watch wherever you get your podcast, watch on YouTube, or you can watch right now by scanning that QR code.